Hey guys, this is Sabina. Thank you so much for tuning in my YouTube channel. For today, I have a special guest, my fiance, Grandmaster Elshan Moradiabadi. Together with him, we'll be going over game number 2 of the candidates quarterfinals, the match between James Fischer and Mark Taimanov. Here's how the game went.
Hello guys, as you can see, Sabina has prepared the second game of the famous match Fischer-Taimanov, which ended up 6-0 in favor of Fischer in one of the games that led to Fischer walkover to win the World Championship title. And here we have knight b5, which at the time was a rare move. Nowadays it's not played anymore, and in fact came as a surprise to Taimanov. Usually Fischer would have played knight c3 with g3, and for if you want to further inquire Fischer's game, you can look at Fischer-Tal 1961 at Bled, in which Fischer got a very nice win over Tal.
In the same time, you can check out my YouTube video day number 6, the game number 4 of the match Fischer-Taimanov, and he actually played this line, so check out that game. After knight b5, d6, bishop f4. Do you want to tell something to our listeners about this line, where the bishop moves many times?
As you can see, white loses 310 to get rid of his bishop on g5. Many of you who are familiar with Fischer variation know that knight on b1 should always be on c3, and that already is considered good for normal for black. So with this tempo down is in fact modern theory expresses that white is not doing that great, and in fact is not doing good at all in this position. In future games, we will show you from the candidates match later Fischer played against Petrosian that he ended up having the worst position in this. Fischer ended up having the worst position against Petrosian, but that's something for later. Okay.
Queen d2, knight takes e4. So in this game, Fischer gave away a pawn for compensation. Queen takes a5, knight takes a5, bishop e3, another bishop move, but of course it's forced. Knight c7 would not be good because king d7, and if knight takes a8, now knight takes g5, and this knight in a8 remains trapped. So bishop e3 is somewhat forced in this position. King d7. What do you think, Elshan? I didn't appreciate this move very much here.
Well, somehow black has to cover c7 square, and king d8 would run into knight takes a7, and there's a check on b6 coming, which is very annoying. So maybe Taimanov was afraid of that. That's why he played king to d7. Of course, he blocks his bishop on c8.
Exactly. He blocks the bishop in c8, and in the same time puts the king on the d file, which is going to be very annoying for him later on after white develops his knight to c3, which Fischer did. Capture, and now white just wants to castle and use the badly placed king on d7. And here is actually the move that I thought was more weird by Taimanov, king d8. I would have played b6 here with black to try to develop my bishop in b7, and I'll see later on where I want my king to be. What do you think?
Yeah, well, actually it looks strange because finally that bishop on the diagonal c8 h3 doesn't have really a specific prospect after. So yeah, b6 makes more sense.
Yeah, I thought so, and I don't see exactly how white can punish this king in the center. But okay, Taimanov went for king d8, and now Fischer played knight b5, attacking both d6 and a7 pawns. So he has to play as dynamic as possible in order to compensate for his pawn down. Bishop e6, long castle, b6. Of course, black would like to play d5 in this position and d4. Unfortunately, he's a tempo too late because after bishop takes a7, this position is really
very annoying.
yeah, so
doesn't look fun. at all.
So he played b6, and now take a moment to find a really good move for white. Not knight takes d6, because after bishop takes, rook takes, king e7, rook d1. Bishop c4 is a really nice move by black here, and he manages to trade white's bishop pair, and in the same time he's going to be able to bring his rooks on c and d files and have a really nice position. So what move should Fischer find here? f4. I really like this move. Do you have something to say about this, Elshan?
It's a very good move. It's a move belonged to a chess later played in late 70s and 80s, and now a modern chess after Kasparov. So I'm sure our followers would fully understand and appreciate this move.
Okay, so black is forced to capture in f4, knight b7, bishop e2. As you can see, white again is not hurrying to capture the pawn in d6, bishop d7. And now, because we cannot play bishop f3, this was the idea of bishop e2, to play bishop f3 and use the weakness of the diagonal and the badly placed knight here in b7. But now after bishop d7, the knight is hanging. So a very nice move by Fischer, rook d2, with the idea to double in d1 and not only get the pawn from d6 back, but in the same time win some more pieces on the d file. So bishop e7, rook d1, and there's a threat now. Knight takes d6, and the bishop would be lost.
Yes, so bishop to d5 is
forced.
And then
king c7. And now it looks like white is not going to be able to capture his pawn back. This d6 pawn is quite well defended. However, the fact that he has the bishop in b5 controlling e8, now white can get the control of the e file, which he did, and rook e1. And now there's a threat, rook e7 check, using the badly placed knight here in b7. So Taimanov played rook c8. Now in case rook e7, there's just king b8. Bishop c4, going for the pawn, rook c8. And now a very nice move by Fischer, b4.
Yeah, it's very, that knight is doomed.
Yeah, he's restraining the knight in b7, and he doesn't hurry to get the pawn in d6. I mean, black's pieces just don't seem to do much.
Yeah, and there's no knight d8 here. I think there is no knight to d, because maybe we can play knight e6 after, but maybe some bishop a6, some maybe.
We cannot just play rook e7 check.
Take, and then king
and
c6.
you cannot. You have to come to c6, and now I'm thinking some idea with b5.
Yeah, that's interesting as well.
King c5, and now bishop
running away with my
bishop
king.
d3. I don't know. I have bishop e3 check. The rook is coming.
Yeah, but knight
Like,
e6.
knight e6. This pawn is also. I don't know.
Yeah,
This is interesting.
you have the attack. King is exposed, but I mean there are many threats. But still, this.
Yeah, but I'm not forced. I'm not forced to play rook e7. I can also play bishop a6 in this position.
That's more.
It's probably better. Bishop a6. The bishop.
And then check. If knight b7 back, then now you have the check.
Now we have the check, of course. But okay, and if you move the rook, then okay. Look at this position. Probably rook d1 or.
Yeah.
It could be now and
then knight b7, rook e4, coming to c4.
Yeah, this I can just capture in d6. So this,
as you see, that analysis we just made by hand shows that how bad black's position is really tied up.
Yeah. So he tried to play a5 to get this pawn away so that his knight have some play, but Fischer didn't play a3 immediately. He had this intermediate move, bishop d5 again, threatening
Very
rook,
nice, yeah.
rook e7.
Very nice. That check is very nasty.
Yeah, and now after king b8, a3, rook f d8. Actually, this move is very interesting.
A brilliant defense, because now everything is defended and black is trying to regroup his pieces, so he has to capture on f7.
Yes, like he's basically giving away the pawn. He's giving away the pawn back, but in order to try to get some play. So now bishop c3 with tempo. Bishop d2, and now it looks like black has a lot of weaknesses and the rook can come on e7, but in fact I'm just going to trade some pieces and I have this d5, d4, d3, using your king on the c file badly placed. So rook d1.
Yeah, and still looks better for white, but I have a feeling that black has. Okay, d3, great.
d3, another nice move, trading some more pieces of the board.
Yeah.
I mean, he took in c3. It was kind of forced because
d8 after that.
Yeah, you cannot as well defend it, and then yeah, the bishop will be hanging when you come back. So rook e1. But okay, now white is going to win the c2 pawn. However, black has gotten counterplay. He could not stay with all those pieces. Remember, d6, b6 pawns, knight in b7, the rooks were not doing anything. So he gave the pawn away. He actually gave 2 pawns. We'll see here how white is winning this e2 pawn. So he gave 2 pawns just to get some counterplay, and he managed to defend quite well for the next some moves. He's keeping his pawns on black squares. This knight is active. The king is, right in front of the pawn that's going to become a pass pawn.
Looks very suspicious for black, I think.
Looks suspicious, but it's not very clear how white is going to progress, because although I'm going to create a pass pawn, this pawn is going to be blocked on black squares. So now rook g5, keeping white a little bit passive there. And now just staying here, king c7, king d7, and Fischer gave a check, and now he went for c5, after which he ended up losing this pawn. It was a little bit premature.
I think he just lost thread. When you are on draw winning games, you just seem that, I win with every move. Okay,
yeah, so rook a6. But rook a6 would have been probably better, and then try to play c5 maybe. But
he went without preparation.
Yeah, he was not prepared enough, and now this knight is coming, knight e8, c7, e6, and white is going to lose that pawn, which is exactly what happened. After bishop c4, of course, you can play knight e6, but now king d7, and check, and black won the pawn. So now it seems that this position should be draw, right?
Yeah.
And
let's see how he lost.
The game kept going for a while.
And have in mind that in between the third game has been played, in which Taimanov had very good winning chances, but ended up losing. So the adjournment is played after.
Actually, Elshan, I have to stop you there. They didn't adjourn the game yet. They had a little adjournment early on that we didn't mention because it was not very important. But they will have the adjournment in a couple of moves. Here, Taimanov found this very nice knight e5 check, and he gave another pawn, basically, but with the idea that this bishop is going to be a wrong corner bishop, and even if I trade the rooks and I give away my knight, if I put my king in h8, it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, it looks very game over.
So this should be totally draw. And here's the moment where the game got adjourned, and Taimanov was ended up getting ready to play game 3. He was actually playing it, right? And he got a better position. He was winning. Unfortunately, he messed up and lost. And instead of double checking this position and making sure he can make a draw,
up just showing up at the board thinking that with every continuation he can make a draw.
Yeah, probably.
So this is a great lesson that we should always remember. We shouldn't just take it easy. So okay.
Well, okay. Nowadays we don't adjourn games anymore.
But we sometimes lose cautiously.
Here, surprisingly, he played knight g6. He didn't go for this trade and king e6. This is a very clear
awkward
draw. I mean, king h4, and now you have to know to play rook g8 to give checks, but it's quite for Taimanov. Yeah, of course. So he played knight g6. Still okay. Still the position is supposed to be a draw. Knight e5 back. Okay. Check. Back and forth. Check. Rook f6, trading the rooks off, and here Taimanov blundered. He played king e4.
It's goodness.
Incredible mistake here. King d6 just right?
Yeah,
knight d3
very typical.
And knight f4.
And then after king f5,
now king d6, and the king is just going towards the corner, and the total draw. King d6 also makes a draw, now there's knight d7 and the king comes this other way.
The game, king e4,
king e4, bishop c8. The only move that doesn't allow knight f3. Because yes, knight f3, bishop b7 check. So now
that's game over.
Game over.
Sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
h7, knight e5, and here Taimanov resigned. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for more videos tomorrow.
Till next time. Bye.
Goodbye.